Okay, it says I'm live. Let's hope this works. Fingers crossed, everybody. Can you hear me? Let's see. I'll wait for someone to hop in and let me know. Thank you for bearing with me. If not, I will have to record a meditation and put it up later. So, not sure what is going on. Okay, can someone put in the chat if they can hear me? Testing, testing. Well, it's showing that it can hear me in the audio. So if someone can let me know, that would be fantastic. Is my audio coming in? Bear with me as I learn YouTube. I am still somewhat a newbie with all of this. So I don't know if the audio is working or not. I'll give it about another minute. And then if it doesn't work, what I'll do is I will put a recorded video up and check in. And we'll do it that way. Testing, testing. Can you hear? Anyone there? Okay. Is it coming through? All right. Give it about another 30 seconds and then I will. Oh, good. You can hear. Excellent. All right, great. My apologies, everybody. So it's unfortunate because when you do the live stream, you can't trim the video later on. So for anyone that's going to watch this later, you're going to have a couple minutes. You're going to have to fast forward. But anyway, it's good to see you. And I thank you all for being here. We are living in very precarious times. And I thank you all for taking the time to join me today. What I started to say on the last live stream is that meditation is a practice I've been doing for over 20 years, and it feels good to get back into it. Took a break during the Corona years, and excited to kind of get back into it full swing, doing it daily now for almost a year, and it feels really good. But it's not easy per se. It's a simple concept, but not necessarily an easy practice. Think about it like going to the gym. if you want to go and build a bicep, that it takes time and dedication to tear that muscle in order to build and have it grow. And it's very similar with the mind. In this case, you are wanting to build this muscle of attention. And there's a lot of research behind it. I'm happy to go into it later. This is a lot of my educational background is in this area. And it's very powerful. It has a big effect in our life in so many different areas. And but it does take dedication to quiet the mind and to recognize that there is something greater than the body and something greater than the mind that we want to get in touch with and tap into. And that to me is spirituality. So the work here is consistency. And there's been a big effort for folks to want to have me do these live on Monday evenings. I promise I will do my best to try to figure out YouTube and understand more of the inner workings and maybe do some more trial testing to get it all nailed down. So we're just kind of riffing here with life. But let's go ahead and get started. So what I'd like you to do is to begin by getting into a comfortable position. This is important because we are wanting to relax the mind. We are wanting to change our brainwave frequency for us to get into what's called a state of coherence. And a state of coherence is where we have the mind brainwave frequencies start to match in sympathetic harmony the heart wave frequency. I'll talk more about this in future videos, but the heart is very fascinating because it gives off its own frequency, its own rhythm. And when we can quiet monkey mind here and have this get into synced rhythm with the heart, that there is pure magic that can happen with that. But that takes practice. And I have devices that I'll show in future videos of where we can measure reliably with devices whether or not we are in synchronistic harmony with those two. Again, they use the term coherence with that. So for tonight, what we're going to have to do is to just practice it on a feeling level. So that's part of the reason why we want to get into somewhat of a comfortable position. Now, if you'd like, you can sit. If you want to lie down, that's fine. The only problem with lying down is that we don't want you to fall asleep. There's nothing wrong with falling asleep, but when we fall asleep during meditation, what that usually indicates is either A, we're really tired, or B, we haven't found that sweet spot yet with slowing down the brain waves to get into that altered state before we go past the threshold and we start catching Z's and zonk out. So we don't want to do that either. But that's part of the practice, is kind of finding that sweet spot for us. So that's partly why we want to quiet the body and quiet the mind. So enough of my jibber jabbering. Let's go ahead and move into practice with this. So finding whatever comfortable position means to you. And if you'd like, you can close your eyes. I find it helpful to close my eyes because there's less stimuli coming in that moment, and I'm able to turn within. And we want to slow down our breathing when we do this as well. That when we have fast, rapid breathing, that's usually through the chest, and that gives off different signals to our body of fight and flight and being ready to spend all of our energy looking at the outside world. And we're wanting to do the opposite. And so we have to slow down the breathing, the pace, the rhythm, the speed, and we have to increase the quality and the depth of the breath. And what we're going to do is we are going to now move the focus of our attention from breathing in through our lungs up here and breathing down into our belly. So on the in breath, breathing in through the belly, and on the out breath, having the belly return back down. And as you'll hear me say often, the reason why we want to breathe through the belly is because we get more oxygen in that way, but we are also increasing the um, the air that goes into a muscle called the diaphragm. And the diaphragm is an important muscle to inflate when we breathe in. And the reason why that is because in our lower spine, when we breathe in through the diaphragm, it activates the vagus nerve. And we want to activate this vagus nerve because it indicates to our body that it's time to rest, time to ground, time to go within. There are various types of meditations that are out there. I have found this to be the most impactful one. And so, not all of our meditations will be this way, but many of them will, because this becomes an important step one. An important precursor before we move into the deeper work. We want to get into a state of coherence first before we move into the meditation. Okay, good. Now, what I'd like you to do is to bring your attention now to your heart. Bring it now to your heart region. Just breathing in and out of your heart. Right now, there's nowhere we have to go, and there's nothing that we have to do. This process is not a doing process. It's just simply being with ourselves and being with the moment. Want to slow those brain waves down and get them in sync with our heart. And as you continue to breathe in and out of your heart region, I want you to think of a person or a memory or a location that activates and brings about a feeling of love or gratitude or connection. Could be a partner or a family member or even a pet. Think about something that brings a smile to your face. And as you continue breathing in and out of your heart, connect with this feeling now. And as you think about this, see if you can turn up the volume of how much you can connect with this feeling. See if you can amplify that. If we had the proper measurement tools, what you'd find right now as you do this work is that the bioelectric field around your body is expanding. In these moments, you're becoming more energy and less matter. This is important for us to connect more deeply to the quantum field. What we're doing now cannot be understated in terms of its importance before we move into the meat of the meditation. This is a crucial precursor. Feeling that feeling still, staying connected with love, with gratitude, connection, and love. The doorway has now opened, and we're ready to move to part 2. The theme for tonight's meditation is calmness within the storm. Calmness within the storm. Many of us have been affected with the recent hurricane that hit the southeast part of the country. There's another one on the way that's supposed to hit in a day or two. And what I've heard is another one behind that. Those are physical storms. Each of us have metaphorical storms in our life as well. Storms of anger, confusion, anxiety, sadness. We can all relate on some level to the concept of a storm. So what I'd like you to do is to now visualize whatever storm resonates with you, that you see and feel going on in your life. And imagine this storm visually right in front of your body. Whether if it's swirling winds or emotions or the chaos of situational factors. Imagine that right in front of you. Now, what I'd like you to do is to visualize this shrinking in size. Shrinking in size. It's getting smaller. Getting smaller. Getting smaller. And imagine now taking some sort of device, a plastic bag, Tupperware container, a crystal ball, some sort of device that you can capture the energy of this storm, and you can place it into this box. And this container is absolutely waterproof, energy proof, and no leakages on any level. And just imagining this going into that box. Putting the lid on, zipping it up, or locking a lock, whatever visualization resonates with you. And imagining now taking this storm that's safely locked away in its container and putting it on a shelf. Putting it on a shelf. Hasn't gone away. We haven't ignored or denied its existence. We're just temporarily putting it on a shelf. We are bookmarking it to come back to later. And as we see it over there on that shelf, we recognize that this stressor is not who we are, does not define us. And it's a practice that we can use this visualization to put this stressor on a shelf when life gets too overwhelming and we just need a pause. That the storm will not destroy us. It will not consume us, for we are far more than whatever that thing is in our life. Now imagine in your mind's eye taking a step back from that shelf. Maybe you can see the storm and all of its energy swirling around inside of that box. Or maybe it's completely lead-proof and you couldn't see even if you had X-ray vision. But to take a step back and now look down. Look down in your mind's eye at your body. Recognize that the energy from the storm does not leave a residue, for all of its energy is inside of that box. And we are so much larger, so much more expansive than any situation that we're ever facing in our life. And this is the work. This is the work for us when life gets too hard. To come back and use this visualization to help take a break mentally, emotionally, and press the pause button. This is part one of the practice. After we've gotten into coherence, to recognize that we are more than the chaos of our life. And to know that the more that we practice meditation, the stronger this muscle becomes of choosing where we place our attention. For wherever our attention goes, the energy flows. So life is always asking us a question. Do we want right now in this moment to place our attention on what we don't want or on what we do want? So we've placed that stressor in the box on the shelf, which has now freed up resources in our mind to think bigger than the problem. To know that whatever storm is facing us in our life, that we have a choice, always. Do I choose to place my attention, knowing that more energy will be placed on wherever that attention goes? Do I choose to face that on what I don't want or on where I do want the energy to flow? And this now ushers in part 2. Part 2 is to take a moment and ask yourself a question. This is your chance to dream, your chance to think bigger than whatever the problem is in your life. What do I want? What resonates with my heart? Now that I'm allowing my mind to think more than just on the problems of my life, what's next? What does the next chapter of my life entail for me? Whether that's something big in terms of life or something small in terms of my week or my day or a short-term goal. What's next? What's next for me to call in and create in life? We are more powerful creators than we've ever been told. We can create this next chapter. So let's do this together. What's next for you? We've linked up the mind and the heart so we can hear the heart now. We can listen to its whispers. What's next for me? And as you begin to hear more of the drum beat, more of the message of what's next, allow yourself to get as specific with the message as you can. We start by looking at things from a general point of view. And if you can't go any more detailed than that, that's just fine. But the invitation here is to drill down and start to get more specific. We want to move to become as granular as we can until it starts to become overwhelming and we can't think anymore, wherever that block is. And we honor that. And then we take a half step back. Take this idea now that's coming to you. And now we want to make this come alive. Make this come alive. Have this message become technicolor in your life. What do you see if this vision were to become a reality? What do you see happening around you? How would you like things to unfold? Remember, we're wanting to teach our mind to focus on what we do want, not on what we don't want. What do we see? See if there's maybe a little movie clip that you could play on the screen of your mind. And get in touch with some of your other senses. To hear, to feel, to taste, to touch. How can you make this come alive? And the next ingredient we're putting into this wonderful concoction we're creating is now feeling. Essential ingredient. Essential. You can see this in your mind. But now we want to feel this in our heart. What do you feel when you see this movie clip playing? What emotions do you feel? Feel those emotions now, before it's come to fruition. This is the work. If you're going through a big storm right now, maybe the only emotion you can get in touch with is relief. That's okay. That's okay. Feel the relief right now. Letting tension go. If there's tension that comes up in your body, breathe it out. Shake it out. Let that tension go. See if anything shifts for you as you do this process. Staying in touch now with the message, the vision. What's next? What would you like to feel? Want to feel joy or abundance or love? What would you like to feel? See if you can tune in to any of those feelings now. And we're going to wrap up here soon. So allowing ourselves for something more than just our day-to-day life experience. This vision of what we want to call in next for ourselves. What do we want? We've played the video clip in our mind. We've gotten in touch with the emotion that this desire invokes. And now it's time to release this, to place this very precious seed of our intention. And we want to plant this seed now out into the quantum field. So we make an intention now to release and to trust. To let go. To allow something higher than ourselves to bring this heartfelt desire into fruition in our life. To bless this seed with gratitude. Thanking God or energy or the quantum field or the universe, source, whatever word resonates with you. Bringing a sense of gratitude and faith ahead of time, knowing that this call will be answered. Now that we've done a prayer over our own life, we want to extend well wishes now to the rest. The rest might mean to our loved ones, so we'll start there. To those who are nearest and dear to us, may you send loving blessings to those who are closest to our hearts. Sending and expanding this sense of loving kindness and good well wishes to those that we might know but are not in our inner circle, to coworkers or more distant friends. Sending love and good energy to them as well. Now, sending energy to all those who might be in harm's way. To all those who are currently in harm's way with the upcoming storms and hurricanes. May there be shields of protection around them, around their loved ones, around their property, around their pets, around their vehicles as they move to evacuation. We send loving energy and protection to all of those in harm's way. And we send loving energy to all those who might be in harm's way in other ways. For those who might be in the hospital right now. For those who might be struggling significantly with an addiction, with mental or physical health problems. May we send them peace, peace in their lives, peace in their hearts, sending them all love. And now for all those all over the planet who are struggling and suffering in any other way. If there's anything the planet is in need of more, it's love. Love is the answer. Love is the key. Love is the gateway. It is the bridge that will bring us to a new world that's coming very quickly. But we can't contribute to sending love out to the world if we don't get in touch with it first. And that's what we're going to do here every Monday evening. We're going to connect to love. And then send that love out to all those who need it. Much like a life preserver is the most needed thing to someone who's drowning in the water. Love is what's needed on the planet. So we send out this abundant, limitless love to anyone who could benefit from it on the planet right now today. We send that out by, once again, getting in touch with our heart, feeling that love, and broadcasting that frequency. Whether you send it out like a Care Bear, or you have it emitting like a broadband radio tower, sending that out to everyone across the globe. This is the collective work for us to do right now. Love is the life preserver for all of us. And as we finish this meditation, bringing your attention back now to your heart, to your body. Thanking yourself for taking this time to show up for you today, to show up for your loved ones in some way today, to show up to your future, to show up to humanity, to show up today. And expanding your awareness now to the rest of your body. And if you'd like, you can wiggle your fingers and toes And slowly open your eyes. I want to thank you again for being here with me today, spending this time and energy. You are welcome to rewatch this as many times as you'd like, to get in touch with this energy signature that we've put out. This is very powerful. And whether you have a handful of people watching this or the whole world watching this, that the type of work that we're doing here cannot be stated enough in terms of its power. So the more that you do this, the more that you will see real clear changes in your life. So, okay. Any questions? I'm happy to be of service. Hang out for a little while. Sounds like people were enjoying the meditation. I will work on evolving this as we go along. Love to hear feedback, how I can help folks. That's my role here, is to just be of service. So, okay. Much needed. Yes. Much needed. Much needed for all of us. Much needed for all of us in our own life. Much needed for the rest of the world. This love is like oxygen. It's needed for our soul to function. And that is because we are love. That is who we really are. And the more we get in touch with this, the more we get in touch with the true self, the real us. And the more we practice this, the more we close the gap between the us that exists in daily life, that struggles with all of the ins and outs and the roller coaster of everyday existence. I call that 3D. And then the true self, the real us, the part of us that's coming from our heart. And we want to close the gap. And the more we close the gap, the better we're going to feel, the more love we're going to have in our heart, and the more we're going to be able to give that gift to the rest of the world, because they've forgotten. They've fallen asleep. They have opened the gap. And that's why there's such a feeling of disconnection. So it starts with us. It starts with us to close that gap through times like this of you showing up for yourself. And we remember who we are. To remember means to put back together. And when we remember who we are and we show up, then we give off a fragrance of that love. And that fragrance is intoxicating. And then others smell that smell and they say, I want what they're having. And we help them remember. And the more that we do this, then the more of an impact we can have in the world around us. Whether that's at home with your family, whether that's in your work environment, or whether that's being broadcast all over the world through a YouTube channel. That it's this remembrance of coming back to love, coming back to our heart. Yes, we all need this. We all need this. We all need this. So it is my dedication to do the best that I can to try to make it here on Monday evenings. And I appreciate you all being here. I appreciate you all being a part of this. And I wish you the best in this next week. This can be a great way for us to start our week moving forward, of just showing up for ourselves and contributing to the greater whole. So I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening, wonderful rest of your week. And I look forward to getting you two all sorted out, trying to get the sound situation figured, and showing up here next week so we can all do this again. And if we can spread the message and have more, then all the better. All the better. But it doesn't matter, because it starts with us. And whether we have one person on YouTube or 1 million people on YouTube, it still starts with us. So this is the work. So this is my encouragement for this next week, to practice this. It's like smelling salts. When we fall asleep and then we start to attune to the fact that, ooh, there's a disconnection and I'm out of sync with the real me, that is 90% of the work right there. Just having those smelling salts and waking up. And as soon as we see it, now we have orientation. We have a compass in terms of, okay, what do I do now? How do I close the gap? How do I get back to my heart, get back to love, get back to the real me and feeling grounded? And that's the whole point of my work and everything that I'm doing to contribute to the larger whole, is to help provide a map to bring us back to ourselves. So have a lovely week, and I look forward to seeing you all soon. All right. Bye for now.